Yo boys, back to another video. Today we are going to be doing the good old fashioned solo shuffle. That's really the only thing to do on WoW right now because arenas are pretty bad. And pretty much all you're going to be doing and looking for is, as an assassination rogue, obviously you want to try to get saps when you can. Here I actually end up trying to sap off the fear. He ends up actually getting a good ring. Now the problem with this mage is he was really RNG with his sheeps. Like you don't know if he was going to sheep the target or not. Because like at the start of the match he would sheep and then he never click it again. Especially when we need it for like goes. So it really just came down to you're just gonna bleed everything possible. So Assassination Rogue, you want to go in there and just bleed everything. Now obviously, if you're playing with a mage, you can bleed the Evoker, but usually I don't. Like if I have something that can CC, I usually don't break CC. So here I end up blinding. Obviously, where this is Sturge on his Evoker, so we need to win every game we could. I think here we end up going 5-1. And the reason we lost is because the mage on my team wouldn't sheep a single target. Like, he'd sheep once and then he would never sheep again. And, you know, we just never had CC to actually, like, CC anything. That's what it came down to. Here I end up almost getting 100-0, but thankfully, you know, my guy ends up PSing me. And then we also end up getting a bunch of cooldowns there. So if my guy just sheeps the Evoker here right off Turtle, our next Kindigo is going to be vital. We instantly will win. So my guy just goes and pushes in for a fear or a sheep. So here he actually gets the sheep. So the one time he gets it, which is perfect. And then I actually think we end up winning the game off this. We'll see. I end up gouging it. Because honestly, when you're playing with a mage, you usually expect the mage to legit just one-shot somebody. Because that's usually how it goes. Every time I face a mage, they just like one-shot the entire team. My guy actually ends up almost dying here. And then at this point, it's too much damage. He should die here. But I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening with my mage right now. All I know is he's getting absolutely just farmed. Now, the one bad thing about facing an Evoker and a survival hunters can badge off all your bleeds, so you're really never going to get you're never going to get death mark versus this team, but, you know, it is what it is. We actually end up killing this guy, because at this point, the mage is actually pumping. I have Shiv on the target, and he's going to get taken out. Now Shiv did get nerfed by, you know, it was at 40% and then it got nerfed to 35%. Now it's at 30%. So it's gotten nerfed quite a bit. So now it's 30. I mean, I still think it's really good. But you'd expect them to honestly nerf other classes. Like this mage ended up doing 400k in stealth. So this guy, before he even came out of stealth, he instantly already did 300k. If my guy didn't use, you know, wall. Actually, I don't even know if he used anything. I think my healer just out-healed it because they didn't even CC. This guy just full sent it with no CC at all, which is like the rookie mistake, especially when you're playing at high CR versus players that know how to click buttons, usually. So here, like I said, you want to bleed everything you can. I see the hunters on DR, so I'm instantly... Actually, no, I see that he has PS, so I'm instantly going to kidney the other target. Because there's no point in using my stun on a target that has PS on him at 50%. I might as well kidney the mage, end up getting, you know, some bleeds on him, and then there you go. And then at this point, you know, we don't really have CC other than my gouge. Now, we do have the occasional hex, but if the healer's good, he'll just sit pillar, and he's not going to die. So here I end up death marking him, and as you can see, he just ends up badging it, which is like, it doesn't really matter who you death mark, because it just won't. He'll just trinket and then badge. That's all he's waiting for. And so, like, death mark's just CD that you use to use. That's what it comes down to. Now, obviously, if you see a hunter that uses badge, then you want to instantly death mark right after, no matter what cooldown was used after. Even if he has everything other than badge, just use it. Because getting that badge off, especially if you can get a full one in, there's been very few times where I've actually I actually end up trinketing the trap here because I was not waiting for it. Because like as you can see, he just dies. He has no turtle. I have full Shiv on him, and full bleeds. Yeah, he's not gonna live, especially when my guy's not CC'd. And so I kind of knew that I would have sat in that sheep for a second, so I just trinketed. I'm like, yo, he is dead 100%. Does not matter, because you got to remember I have an Ellie on my team that can instant cast. So his damage is not RNG. It's always 100%. Every single kidney, this guy can like 150 somebody. So it's pretty crazy. I actually started at 3,300. Actually, I went to 3287, and then I dropped down to 2,900, and then I actually pushed up back to 3141. So I'm gaining back my rating that I lost because, you know, I was going 3-3 and losing 50 points. I don't know why that's still even a game. Personally, I think if you go, honestly, even if you go 2-4, I still think you should. All right, I think 2-4 should be the 3-0. So if you go 3-3, you should still gain rating. But if you go 2-4, you should gain 0. That's how it should be. And then if you legit only win one round, that's when you should lose rating. I think then it would be if you're waiting a long time in queue, at least it's gonna be worth it because you know you're gaining rating. Because everyone can win 3 matches usually. And I think even if it's only 10 or 15 points, even if it's only 10 points, that's still better than losing or not gaining anything. Because, that it's pretty dumb when you're playing at high rating and there's legit nothing you can do. Your teammate dies in one shot, or you're facing a comp that's just or a comp that you just can't do anything against. So, there's the situations to where there's nothing you can do. So I end up death marking here, which I know it's going to get instantly dispelled. Now, usually you want to use your death mark on a blind. So as soon as you blind death mark, the problem with that is he's just gonna trinket and use his thing anyway. So it's it doesn't really matter. It's gonna get dispelled no matter what. It just won't matter. Now, obviously, if we had full CC and then I death mark, that probably would have been as you can see, it's really RNG with our CC. We either do the CC or we don't. And usually, honestly, there he had 3 seconds left of his trap. I ended up breaking it because obviously his wall, he's not gonna die, and I wanted to get my garrote off. Because obviously getting those 50% more growths is crucial. Now here I end up seeing that the Ellie's he's just running away, so I'm gonna turn around, make sure he can't sheep my priest again, and we should be pretty solid. Now here I'm just stuck in a root. My guy's staring at me. He doesn't even want to dispel me, so I sat in a full root. Very unfortunate. I end up getting rooted again, and I end up trying to go line here so I don't die. But at this point we really need to trap. That's all it comes down to. My priest needs to be purging the Evoker's shields, and then we just trap, we win the game. But you can't really expect that. Even if you're playing really high rating, a lot of times some people just forget. Obviously it happens, it is what it is. But, yeah, I definitely want to purge those shields off from the Evoker. Honestly, it's like having it's like the priest talent they used to have where, they I don't know why they still have 3 versions of it. They should only get one, a priest, a holy priest. You know how they got the ward, the spell ward, wherever you hit them, it just ate the spell? They should only get one. I don't know why they get 3. It's that's a huge buff. Or that's OP to me. Getting 3 is pretty OP. So we end up actually getting the trap here. He ends up just soloing the Ellie, because obviously I'm way too far to get to him. I'm not going to be able to chase him. So he ends up actually just soloing him. And the problem with a lot of people is they never let me sap, so I never get time to sap. And here I end up getting all of his shields. The problem with Sturge on the Evoker is he'd use that button right there for no reason. So he'd use it instead of using roots or something to get me out. He'd use the one power that we cannot do anything to him, CC him in any way. He'd use that every single time. Every opener he'd use that, and I don't know why. Which it was that's your most valuable CC or CD to get out of stuff. So if you know something's happening, you fly up in the air and you're chilling. So I end up pre-lining the trap here because I know it's DR'd. Because obviously I have diminishing on my sidebar here, so I can see all of our. Now I wish I could make the icons bigger. I've actually been trying to do it, but if you guys know how to do it, let me know. Because obviously they're super small, so honestly sometimes I didn't even pay attention to those because they're so small that I just don't pay. I just don't think to look at them. Because just looking over at my screen and looking at a small little icon you can get one-shotted in between that time, if you know what I'm saying. So if anyone knows how to get it bigger, or if you have a YouTube video that shows how to get it, a bigger icon size, let me know because I needs it. And I've been trying to figure it out, but I haven't been able to. So here, obviously, we're end up double winning and kidneying off DR. You got to get those kidneys off. Usually I like the kidney on Shiv, but there's situations where if somebody's 50%, you can honestly just Shiv them. Because especially in solo shuffle. Because when you're in a solo shuffle, the dampening goes up so quick to where it's not really healable dam. So right now, it's 30% off of whatever you're at right now. It's really crazy. Even if it got nerfed, it's still really good. Any sort of MS, Mortal Strike is insanely OP in solo shuffle. Because obviously healers right now can't actually heal the damage. So it's up to it's really anything with a Shiv or a Warrior or a DK. Any of those classes, you gotta win before dampening, or else you're just not gonna be able to heal the damage. It's not gonna happen. So it really comes down to it's either you kill this team before then, or you die, because it's all about dampening really. because like Assassination is a dampener. Now, obviously, you can kill before them, but your main thing, like your bread and butter, is gonna be instantly when you get up to that. Once healers start having a trouble healing and you just shiv, it's over. They can't heal the damage. It doesn't matter if they're CC'd or not; they're gonna die. But yeah, same can be said about the enemy team when it's high dampening. There's not really much healing classes that can handle it, and it's pretty much GG. So it really comes down to that super bursty damage is based off of solo shuffle. So it is what it is. So here I end up actually getting the sap, even though they almost didn't let me get the sap. So thankfully, they didn't just run in and not let me get it. So here I end up stunning here. I actually end up blinding the healer, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I blind the healer. He ends up trinketing, so we get trinket from there. I could have let the slep, go through, but it was DR'd, so it was kind of bad. And then honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I thought slep DR'd with actually no, I knew it DR'd with sap, but I ended up just gouging him anyway for like the extra 1 second. I probably just should have saved the DR, but I mean it's not like it was on DR right then anyway, so whatevs. So here, like I said, double bleed, get those double bleeds out. And pretty much it. Now, honestly, if you queue at around 8 Eastern time, your queues are gonna be fast. Like I had really fast queues at that time, from like 8 to 11, or no, probably like 7 to 10. I had like 5-minute queues, 10-minute max. So like you do get really fast queues when it starts to get that around time. But like early in or like in the afternoon or something like that. But then you start queuing into. The problem with queuing early is you queue into people that are non, like they're not US server, or what's the word for it? They're not NA. So like you have like a super bad delay, and it's really really toxic because they favor the non-NA. Like if you're queuing on NA, right, and then you queue on somebody else's phase, or let's say phase, it gives them their home rating, like their home MS. So you have to play on their stuff, if you understand. So you're gonna have like 150 ping world, maybe even 200 ping, and you're gonna be lagging so bad. So my guy ended up not sheeping a single time whenever we needed it. He did not sheep once. He sheeped one time and then did not click it again. It was absolutely crazy. That was the one game we should have won instantly. It should have been no problem. If Now honestly, that's why I used Gouge. That's why Gouge is such a good cooldown, because obviously it's not good. It's not as good as like sheeps or anything. But like when your mage is not clicking buttons to sheep, I think the reason he wasn't is because he had an Ellie on him, so that he was getting kicked and he didn't even feel like casting it. He thought, yo, I'm just gonna pump damage and whatever. Honestly, any sort of CC would have been fine. Like, but when it's up to just my Gouge, it's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. He ends up using PS and the invisible ability, so and the problem with Arcane Mage that I've seen is actually, I mean, I think Arcane is really good. I think all three of Specs or Mage are. I think Frost and Arcane are S tier, and then I think Fire's like A plus tier, just because like of the outcoming damage. Now, obviously, I'm not saying solo shuffle wise. I think solo shuffle wise, Fire Mage can't really compete, like obviously with a Frost Mage and an Arcane Mage, but like you could still easily gain as a Fire Mage, especially if you're like, I wouldn't say easily. I think you definitely have to have some type of skill, because if you're just busting off CD with no CC, you're never gonna kill anything until it's really high damp. And then on top of that, you don't really have as much cooldowns as a like Arcane or a Frost. Like Frost Mages got this one shot every couple like glacials, and then on top of that, they have unhealable consistent damage. A Fire Mage only has combustion, and then you're pretty much useless. So it's like, Fire Mage is definitely good. Now in arena wise, I'd definitely say it's S tier. Like Rogue Mage is really, really good right now. But yeah. I think solo shuffle wise, it's definitely not the best Mage spec, but it's definitely playable. It's definitely A plus tier. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I have been trying out the new sub build. The problem with the sub build is when I try it out and I do it, I see when everybody does it, the only, like, when you're facing a rogue or something, like a leather, it hits really hard, but when you face, like, a plate, it feels like it does no damage. So I'm going to keep trying it out, obviously, but pretty much I think we end up winning the game here by just pumping these, or we end up losing, we'll see. I think, honestly, we just kill the Ellie right here, and we actually just end up destroying him. But hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Let me know what you guys want to see in the next one, and I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys then. Peace, peace.